All right, guys. So we know last week we only briefly touched on George Floyd, but we just wanted to let you know that our hearts are with everybody in America currently. These are really difficult times. We stand with the family. We stand with Black Lives Matter. We've posted a statement on our Instagram, so if you haven't seen that, please go and check it out. And we will continue to share out ways in which you can help from the UK and donate. We will continue to put out content because we feel like as Black women, sometimes you just need a break.
And you just need some levity, honestly.
Literally.
It's tiring.
It's exhausting.
It's actually tiring.
It's like I've come off so many social media stuff right now because it's just tiring and there's too much thinking. So hopefully when you listen to our podcast, it can be kind of like comedic relief.
Yeah, a little uplifting and a little distraction from what's going on right now.
Yeah, exactly. So just know that we share your pain and yeah.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's your girl, Four Ends.
And we are back with another episode. Oh, I just said that. Before the episode starts, can I just say that I was wrong about the American boy thing.
You were. I wasn't going to bring it up because I wasn't going to shame you in the public. I wasn't going to shame you in front of company.
I had to come with my hands up because I went to look at it and I was like, Estelle, like, you really let me down. Because I reckon my version was so forward. It was better. And it made more sense because I think what it is that I couldn't fathom that a woman would willingly have a 5'7" man as her type. And that's not to short shame. Do you know what I mean? That's just...
We can stand a lot of things, but we can't stand a short nigga.
Oh, guys, please keep listening.
Gosh.
Please.
We are so sorry. I'm joking. Like,
sorry.
I have a friend whose boyfriend is short, so actually, like, I can't be a short shamist.
Do you know? And the thing is,
isn't that what white people say about racism?
I have a black friend. No, I have nothing against short men. They're some of the funniest people I know.
Yeah, they make up for it, and some of them have money as well. Listen, if you got money, like,
you can do whatever you like.
There's no. We never talk about sex, but there's actually no height in the bedroom. So
well, there you go.
There you is.
And I hope.
So be short, be proud, just be funny. Like just at the very fucking least. Guys, we are back like crack addicts at rehab. Where is that from? There's actually a song.
I actually don't know. Do you know that the movie Friday is on Netflix now?
Oh, that's me sorted for this weekend.
Honestly, and Menace to Society is on there as well. And what's the other?
I haven't watched Menace to Society.
Watch Menace to Society, sis. It's a rite of passage.
Okay, I'm actually gonna watch it because this weekend my only thing is making okra soup. So,
wow, just send me some. Just leave some outside the door for me. I'll come get it. So basically, we've had a change of heart. We are going to do each episode separately, but we're going to give you 2 episodes a week, which is for the next 2 weeks, which is why we're back again so soon, right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to cover episode 2 of this Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich, and this episode is called Follow the Money. Again, we're not drinking. Don't worry, I've sent my sister to get me wine, so next episode I'll be drinking.
I'm drinking water. So, like I said, I'm still on keto.
Yeah, same.
But I'll be drinking again on my birthday. Yeah. Ooh. On my actual birthday, I'm drinking and eating what I like. It's one day. I've been suffering myself.
Amen.
I've been looking at this.
Hallelujah.
My sisters were eating carbs. I was looking like I dream about carbs. Nah, it's enough. I done paid my dues. Okay.
Now you deserve, man.
Yeah.
You deserve. You deserve.
Yeah, let's hope my waistline cooperates, but we move. Okay, so we're back. And last time when we left you, they had just gotten the search warrant to break into, like, Epstein's crib. Well, not break but, like, search kind of thing.
Search, yeah. The police.
The
police do break into places.
Yeah, they do. They'd be breaking in everywhere. Yeah. So they entered his house at this point. Well, we see kind of, like, the little
You see the footage, innit?
Yeah, and them saying, when we entered the house, we were shocked by what we found. So, yeah, we see the tease, but we don't really know what they find and kind of like, ooh, okay. And, I mean, they have to kind of, like, juice it up. But when we really get into it, they enter his house and they find lots of, like, naked pictures as they go into this like particular area of the house. So it looks like, what it looks like is when you go up the certain stairs, he has like a layer almost at the top of the house, like a penthouse in this house, and that's where like all the freaky deaky shit like is going on. Like, so he has all these naked pictures, and although I didn't mention it last episode, those girls in the beginning, the Farmer sisters, one of them used to draw like pictures. She had like a pre-pubescent range, and in that range she had pictures of her sisters that she'd drawn, which I mean I get, but
do you know what? Like, that was weird to me, because basically we find out last episode, it wasn't that deep, but Jeffrey stole the pictures that she was painting from, and so they're really upset about it. And I was kind of like, that was like kind of fucked up and like disgusting. But then also, you were about to paint this into a painting and somebody would have bought it, so what's the difference between it being a picture and it being a painting? I don't know, maybe it's because maybe the pictures were more inspiration for the painting, and that's why it was kind of like but now you have the actual picture. So I get there's a distinction, but it was still kind of like naked child, like, do you know what I mean?
And there should be some, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how the art world works, but there should be some sort of like something protecting kids.
There won't, man. You can do what you like with art.
And
it's freedom of whatever.
It's freedom of expression, innit?
Yeah.
So anyways, obviously, like, there are these loads of naked pictures. And obviously, when they say this, it kind of takes you back to the Farmer sisters and the missing pictures. And there's a massage room and steam room set up. So it has like a table. We see the table. We see, it really does look like a spa, like, kind of area.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that have been cleaned out. So remember last episode, I was like, how did he...
There's no way he doesn't know when he owns the police department, basically.
Yeah, homeboy knew. He knew. He cleaned out everything. There were still computers there. There were a few things here and there, but most of the, like,
the hard drives.
Yeah,
the hard drives were gone. Because they just saw wires, like, hanging out. And it's like, my brother, something was plugged into this thing.
So he 100% had pictures. That's what I'm thinking. He probably had pictures.
Like on his desktop.
Because your depravity doesn't stop at
or
stupid massages and like masturbating. He probably
we find that out later on in this series, that the depravity does not stop there.
There it is. So yeah, there was some kind of diary book as well, and this was like the most I guess compelling piece of evidence they were able to find in the house. It had like names of different girls. It also had like one of the school's names, and then it had send flowers to this girl because she'd just done a recital at school. It was
all very school related things.
Yeah, very school related. Like, you would have thought he was a teacher, because so detectives were running into issues with their colleagues who were more interested in protecting like people in this area. So at first it was all systems go, get this guy, we've got to get this guy, and suddenly like it's kind of like actually, you know what, let's take a step back. Are we sure? Blah, blah, blah. So this is where you start to see like money is power, because people are obviously like either paying them behind the scenes or there's just some level of corruption, because
that runs so deep.
Literally, the second evidence is actually and think shit's getting real, people are backing off. It's dodgy. So we now meet Virginia Gutierrez.
Jeffrey.
Oh, wow. It's crazy. Okay, we meet Virginia. And she worked in one of Trump's hotels at 16. So she was a locker room attendant and in the spa area. But she wanted to become a masseuse. So one day, she then notices her. And they've been noticing her for a while. She's noticed them noticing her. And she comes...
There's a song like that?
I feel like there is.
There is.
So she then notices her and she asks her to come to Epstein's house because Epstein is looking for a travel masseuse. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because,
and it makes sense. Like, it makes sense. Like, you can't even look at Virginia sideways here, because it makes sense. Like,
it makes a lot of sense.
I want to do massages. You're offering me a chance to do massages. Why would I think it's weird? You're a woman who's asking me, you know, who supposedly knows someone. And this is why I think Jelan is the worst. The worst of the worst. Because people are comfortable with you.
Yeah, because you're a woman. And not just a woman. I don't know if we've ever had this discussion before, but obviously she's a pretty woman as well.
Yeah, young, British.
Literally, there's this whole thing about how beautiful people, like, are
pretty
more
privileged.
Trustworthy. Yeah, literally. Like, she's pretty, plus she's, like, she's not black, so she has a certain privilege. So, literally, like, she has all the privileges that would allow her to go out and be, like, his master. Like, it's very... Yeah, she's the worst.
Yep.
So she asked her to come to Epstein's house, like, to become a travel masseuse. She says they'll help her and she can practice and all of that. And it's again, she jumps at this kind of opportunity. Who wouldn't, if that's the line of work you want to be in? So she gets to Epstein's house and, you know, they're doing their thing, whatever. And then Ghislaine gets naked and tells her to get naked also. And basically, like, Epstein and Ghislaine, like, sexually assault her.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, they told her the interview went well and she should come back the next day, which she did. And it's kind of like, it's the level of brazen effrontery. Like, you've just sexually assaulted somebody. You know that was not part of what... It's a very different thing if I'm working in a locker room and it's obvious that I want to make money on the side by being a sex worker. And I come to your house and I sex work. But you actually told this young 16-year-old girl she was coming to be... a masseuse. She was meant to massage him. You were meant to show her how to massage and help her in, like, training and stuff like that.
And something Virginia says, she says that they normalized the abuse. It's just, it's crazy because it's like, it's just so mad because it's almost as if, like, I can forgive her or understand why that would happen the first time and she would think, oh, okay, they've said the interview went well, maybe this is just what you have to do. Yep. And so she comes back the next day, not like thinking like, okay, I've already done the worst and they can trust me now because I didn't say anything. And so now I can do the massaging. 16 years old, 28 years old, whatever it is, like, I can understand why you would. Yeah.
And literally she says that, like...
One thing that Epstein loved me for was that I never really asked too many questions. I escalated up the ladder very quickly with Epstein. I did whatever he needed.
And again, as BD said, she said that they created this almost deranged family. Like, it was never like, oh, I'm being abused. It was very like, she said they would do stuff together. They would go on trips together.
It's mad.
They'd go out for dinner. He'd always ask about her family, always ask her if she was okay. Like, you get to a point, especially as a woman, if this is your first sexual encounter, you get to a point where you actually start to think, oh, maybe this is how it is. Like,
but Virginia had been abused before, though.
Oh, I
think that's why, because there was a bit where she tells them that she'd been a runaway and she'd been abused before, almost like opening up and letting them in, and they kind of use that against her as if, like, she's kind of more vulnerable. Like, if you've been abused once, like, maybe it's just not that deep to you if you're abused again, and they use that against her, and then almost as if, like, I'm causing you pain, but then, like you said, we're a family, so I'm taking you to dinners. Like, it's almost as if, like, you can firm the pain because of the benefits that you're getting, which doesn't mean that it's not abuse. It's still abuse.
Yeah, it's just abuse with, and it's
not,
I wouldn't even say benefits because it's more like it's almost like hush money.
Yeah,
like they just want to keep her sweet so she doesn't talk, kind of thing. And again, like you said, coming from a place where you don't have like God forbid if anything like that happened to me, I have a family. Like my only option is not just to be massaging you in this like house.
Yeah,
like I actually have a family.
Yeah.
So Virginia said, like, her life wasn't really getting better. She never went to masseuse school, but she kept saying to herself, like, where is she going to go? Like, he was her almost, like, lifeline. Mm-hmm. And also, we see this later on. A lot of the victims don't feel like Epstein is a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, there are a handful of them because I think they're in, like, 45 kind of that they actually are able to interview and extrapolate information from. But there are hundreds of victims. And of those hundreds... Because he had like a spider web. I don't even know if it's a pyramid scheme anymore.
It was a Ponzi scheme, fam. Yeah, it's true. It was all over the web.
All over the shop. Like, and literally, so many of them thought he was a good guy. And this is why, like, he kept them sweet. And think about the fortune. This guy was estimated to be worth like $1 billion at the time he died. What's $200 here and there?
Yeah, it's even cheap.
It's cheap. He doesn't even take... He probably had an account set up just for this that wasn't even a dent into his finances.
Honestly.
It's scary. It's scary. Like, money is just a scary concept in the wrong hands.
And power, which is what he had.
As well. And power. So Epstein felt like he was above the law because people owed him favors, and that is the theme you see. Like, he had done this he'd set up a really, really good kind of safety net here. Like, he knew people in high places because you can be rich and be like a rapper. So you can be rich and be like,
you can be faux rich.
Yeah, you can be faux rich. You can be like, who's a really rich rapper? Let's say
Lil Wayne.
even Lil Wayne, I think he has a few ties because he's been around a bit.
But ties are not like law enforcement or not. It's
Okay.
not real power. It's like faux power. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you're a big fish in a small pond.
But
But Epstein is a big fish in the sea.
Literally,
He's a fucking shark.
So let's say like Lil Wayne or 50 Cent, for example. They have money. They have some sort of street cred. They have power. But
Influence.
trust me, if a police officer wanted to arrest them, they are not getting off. They are not hiding their crimes the way Epstein did. Epstein set up the kind of world for himself where he had access to powerful people, and not only did he have access, he knew things about them.
Yeah,
like I was telling,
he had power over them.
Yeah,
literally.
That's why, like, I say this Epstein thing goes all the way to the top. Trump, like, we will never ever know the extent, and that's what I was saying to my sisters. We were having this conversation about his crimes. I was like, we will never know the extent of his crimes because so many powerful and rich, famous people are involved, and they
people
need
have
this
things
shut
to
up.
lose. Yeah,
literally. So you'll never know. Like, even the victims have probably been threatened by other people involved.
Oh, we find out more.
Boy. And even like with his island as well, because I told you about Anonymous like leaking like people. Like, when you see the list of people who've been to his island, like, we have worldwide like royalty, not just royalty in the UK. You've got Naomi Campbell. Apparently Beyonce and Jay-Z have flown his private jet.
Even if these people that have gone to the island or interacted with him have not participated in the like underage sex with underage girls, it's like there's no way that you weren't aware or privy to the situation. Exactly. And that's what I mean.
Thing.
Like, that is the problem. It's like you are okay for it to happen as long as you were benefiting.
Literally, as long as you kept your mouth shut and you had that proximity to powerful people. Like, it's really, for me, I don't buy that these people didn't know something was up. Even if you didn't directly know the extent, you must have seen a few girls at one of his parties that he was groping that looked a little too young, but you kept your mouth shut because... Yeah, it's scary.
And Cat Williams have been saying for ages, like, all that Hollywood thing, all them man is fucked. Like, Cat Williams has been telling us for years that
people just called him crazy.
They said it was crazy.
Yeah, the stuff that goes on, I 100% believe him. The stuff that goes on in the rich and famous is like...
I don't want to know. Give me riches, fam. I don't need the fame.
I just want the money. Like, I want no parts of that mess because it's almost like you have to sell your soul for this. Like, yeah, it's weird. So again, because he had this whole thing of where people in high places owed him favours, he felt like he was above the law, and for a long time he was operating above the law. Like, literally, it's just that simple. So the documentary now goes into a thing because obviously, like we've said, he's very elusive. So we start to learn a bit about his past and upbringing. So like I said last time, he wasn't from one of the like names that everybody knows. He was actually born in Cody Island, really intelligent, but just came from a working class, middle class family. Like, there was nothing special about his upbringing. So randomly we find out that he gets a teaching job at Dalton. So Dalton College is a really prestigious like college in America, like in New York, sorry. Well, that's in America. But yeah, it's very prestigious and like, obviously they want the best of the best. But he gets that without a degree.
Because he dropped out of college after 2 years.
He's dropped out of college after 2 years, but somehow he gets into like a teaching job at Dalton.
At the Dalton school, like my brother.
Fam. So, my homeboy James says he's another talking head.
Oh yeah, when I saw James again, I was like, oh, you're bae.
Literally.
Foreign's bae.
This was probably the start of Epstein's lifelong pattern of getting away with things that most people can't.
Yeah.
And that is literally the crux of this whole thing.
I feel like the more you get away with things, the bigger your confidence becomes. It's like, you know con men.
Yeah.
Like when I used to watch Hustle and stuff, you just get better at it because it's like you get so good at believing the lie.
Literally.
And like, you didn't get caught last time. Why would I get caught this time?
But literally, even like with getting jobs, half of it, like only about, I'd say 30 of it is what you actually know. Like, the majority of it is how you're able to like...
How you carry yourself.
How you carry yourself. You can walk into a company knowing fuck all about the job and talk your way into that job and learn on the job. Like, I'm telling you, it's so much about like how you carry yourself and feeling like you deserve to belong there. Yeah. And he just did that, but he did that on crack because he full out lied as well.
Yeah, I mean...
So after this Dalton stint, they don't really go into why he leaves Dalton, but he moves to Wall Street. And this is kind of the beginning of...
the end.
The Epstein and the end.
Beginning of the end for all those
Literally.
innocents.
literally. So he moves to Wall Street and he joins a firm called Bear Stearns. I haven't heard of this place, but maybe someone listening has. And they find out at this point that he lied on his application about the colleges he'd been to. So when the guy contacts him, he's like, bro, you lied. Like, you know, he said that he was geared up ready to fire him. This is where we start to see Epstein.
And the privilege.
And the privilege, to be honest. Epstein says, yeah, I'm really sorry I lied. I knew I lied, but I knew that you guys would never take me if I hadn't lied, and I knew Dalton wouldn't have taken me if I hadn't lied. So I just wanted to get my foot in and do the job, and I knew I could do the job. And he was doing the job well. So the guy was like, okay, you know what, cool, and keeps him on. And he basically saying in the documentary,
I'm rolling my eyes, by the way.
Literally, he regrets it, because maybe if he had fired him that day, we wouldn't have known the Epstein we know today.
Exactly.
It's so funny, because it's like when you look back, it's like the butterfly effect. Like there's so many things that if it had just been stopped, XYZ wouldn't have happened.
It's like, you know that book, we read it for GCSEs, and Inspector Calls, and like the girl dies, I think. Anyway, the girl dies, and then, sorry, spoiler guys, and then the whole play is just about how everybody contributed to her death.
Yeah. Literally, it's all crazy. So he stays in the job, and they end up making him partner at some point, which is, again, crazy.
How, Sway?
Literally, this is somebody that lied. He's just able to lie and slither his way to the top. And then at some point, he breaks the rules and gets fired. So we're back to 2006 now. And they have 4 to 5 cooperative victims and proceed to get an arrest warrant. So Epstein assembles a dream legal team. Like, this is due to his connection, due to money. Like, he has the best of the best. So we meet Al Dershowitz, who represented O.J. Simpson, Mike Tyson, Leona Helmsley, and others. Like, the list is endless. And he looks like a typical kind of Jewish uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he helps Epstein put together this team, and he says he tries to distance himself when he's doing this, like his interview for this doc, because he says, oh, we weren't friends, we were colleagues, but we were like a bit more than like, it was kind of like, bro, what is you saying?
Was that your boy or nah?
Literally, just own that he was your boy, and your boy did some effed up shit. Like, what are you trying to say? Basically, he says that, like, he used to write journals, and when he'd write these books or whatever, he'd only give it to a handful of people, and Epstein was one of the people, and it sounded like he was
Epstein was one of those people, but he's not your boy.
He's not your boy. And he was one of the people that would give you, like, he would really read the book, and it was like, bro, just say he's your friend, because you're talking about him like he was a great guy.
Yeah, exactly. And you clearly respected and rated his friendship, so just own it. Say it with your chest.
And I also get it. Like, if tomorrow it turns out that I'm an like crazed murderer who goes around like killing people in their sleep, you, BD, will only have good things to say about me.
Yeah,
you might be like,
she never killed me or murdered me.
Yeah,
she was funny.
Fam, she was funny. She cool. Like,
she cooks well. She can be fed. I mean, what can I say?
What can I say? Like,
it's a shame that she did this.
Yeah,
but this is not the forensics that I know.
Just own it. I don't know why he was coming to do stutter.
Honestly.
But anyways, yeah.
Did I stutter?
I said what I said. So yeah, he's got this dream team, whatever, and Al says he can't represent him. I think that can't represent him is because they're friends, but he doesn't go into details.
No. He can't represent him because he didn't pass the Florida bar.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't pass the Florida bar. Yeah,
that's why. That. But it's like it's funny because you can still have a team of lawyers and he can still be part of that team, but he can't.
But he just can't be your. Yeah,
the law
is
just gas. The law is literally just words put together in a specific way.
Because people say Rob Kardashian.
Then
people say Rob Kardashian was O.J. Simpson's lawyer, but he wasn't. He was just on his legal team. Like, it's stuff like that. Like,
oh my god, I thought you meant like senior, junior, not senior. I was like, wait,
bruh,
I said, wait, hold on, what?
Get the entire hell out. That boy was nobody's lawyer.
He's been busy.
Yeah, alright. So, can you imagine him representing you? Please?
Was he even born? Was he even born though? Them times.
He was, but he was a kid.
Well, there you
baby, yeah. Because Chris wasn't with.
I don't know. It's true, and also I was like 1. I wasn't even 1 yet when that happened.
That shit happened. So, yeah, that was crazy. So the state, actually, guys, we will be putting a poll up just to find out if you guys think OJ did it. Like, I'm curious. He
definitely did it.
So the state attorney starts saying the victims would not make good victims, basically, and is pulling back. So this is what we're talking about. Like,
they wouldn't be credible witnesses, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And this is what we're talking about. Shit is coming to light. The case is coming together, and the people who need to okay the progress with this case are now moving shiesty. That's my new favourite word. I love that word.
Where did you hear shiesty, sis?
Well,
let me say really your fave.
Tory Lanez always says it. And then, oh God, guys, please do not kill me. I was watching an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Bye, good night. Episode over.
And Chloe said it, and I was like, oh, like I understood what it meant. And I was like, I really like this word, so I've been saying it.
That's how I feel about Bly. When I'm like, yeah, give him a Bly. I love that word so much. It's like give him a pass.
I've heard my dad say that a lot, but I'm just like, yeah, you're. I'm saying
Uncle's
you're an old
guy.
man. Like I'm not.
Uncle's actually my guy.
Lingo.
That's my guy, man. Tell him I said hi.
I'll tell him you said hi. So yeah, like I said, everyone's moving shiesty, and so on this on-screen text tells us that in July of 2006, Epstein is charged with a single felony count of solicitation of prostitution, which is ridiculous.
Been doing, yeah.
It's nothing. Everybody in Hollywood solicitates prostitutes. Yeah. They all have that charge. It's nothing. Like, he'll pay a fine, he'll be out. It doesn't make sense. Like, what is going on? So we meet one of the Palm Beach Post reporters, and she's another talking head. At this point, I stopped writing all the names down because we meet a lot of talking heads. But she's talking about how bad the victim's deposition was. And this bit is really, really upsetting. Trigger warning.
My goodness.
I mean, their depositions that I've read were just, hideous. I remember one where he asked one of the young girls, is it true you've had 3 abortions? And then they asked the girl, well, what's worse, having 3 abortions or giving sexual massages to Jeffrey Epstein?
Because what the fuck? Like, what are you saying? What does that even mean?
Fam,
like, what
is
has
the
one
meaning?
got to do with the other?
Bruh. Like, literally, bruh. And this is the thing I feel like victims are never, or witnesses are never prepped for. They will dig deep. And when I watch stuff like this, I always say, because it's very easy to say to people, come forward, like, the more people come forward, like, but especially in America, they will tear you to shreds. Yeah. Like, anything you think you did in your past, forget that. Like, I was watching Big Little Lies. I don't know if you watched that, but I was watching that. Girl, you need to watch it. I was watching that, and like, her mother-in-law basically wanted to get custody of the kids because her husband had died. And when they go to trial, suddenly the lawyer is bringing up like pictures of all the guys she's dated, and it's just like, when they want to drag you and make like discredit you, they will. And don't forget, human beings are very, I don't even know what the word is, like, we're easily persuaded, basically. Like, you can see a witness, you can empathize with her, and then suddenly they tell you, oh, she does crack, or oh, she sleeps with
and then you
200
just get
guys
derailed.
a year, and then you just get derailed. Suddenly you're starting to look at her and you're like, and even if all those things are true, it doesn't take away from the fact that she could have been sexually abused, harassed, raped by somebody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because me having consensual sex that resulted in pregnancies that I didn't want, and then me having an abortion has got nothing to do with me not consenting to sex. It has got nothing.
Two things are not the same in this case. Literally nothing.
It doesn't. It's like, what are you? It's like saying, oh, you flew to Amsterdam last week. Oh, you crashed that car. What the fuck?
Literally, what?
Nothing means anything.
It has nothing. And literally, in America, they can do this. The court, literally in court, is just a show. It's like a TV show. They're just there to entertain. They can say any fucking thing they like, and all systems go. So yeah. Basically, Al comes back and they've obviously, like, the director, whoever's obviously asked him about, like, the way this went down with the victims. And he's trying to explain it away. He's saying that you have to question the victim's credibility. Everything has to be brought to light. It's not about blaming them. It's about showing the full picture. But that picture you're fucking trying to show is not the full picture of the incident that happened. It's a very different thing if you're saying that, oh, she has a history of lying about rape.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're pulling up other instances. Cool, that is the full picture. But saying she's a sexual woman has nothing to do with the fact that in this case she was sexually abused. Like, it's nothing.
But the thing is that it literally is about killing the credibility. It's like you were saying, how people are easily persuaded. So it's not about me proving that, you weren't sexually assaulted or you weren't raped. It's about me putting doubt into the jury's mind, and because people are so fickle and so fucking dumb, me saying, oh, you had 3 abortions will make anybody who
He's listening.
doesn't believe in abortions or feels a way about abortions think, oh, you're a terrible person and a terrible person doesn't deserve justice. Because even if someone said, oh, you killed your baby, that is fucking shit. But that doesn't negate you being raped.
Literally,
do you know what I mean?
it's that
you being
simple.
a bad person or you being a shit person doesn't negate the experiences that you have as that shit person. Do you get what I mean? I'm just like,
It's that
bro,
simple.
what? Like,
What
I don't
is
know
he
how he
saying?
sleeps at night, man. Honestly,
That's what I'm saying. Like but he says it in the beginning. He's like, to be a defense attorney, like you have to not care what people think about you because people
it's
hate
not about,
you.
It's not about what we think about you. How do you feel about yourself,
Fam, if
And
you
that's
don't
what I'm saying.
care
You can
about
not care
what
what people think about you, whatever. But you have to be with you all of the time.
All the time,
And so
yeah.
if you can be happy with yourself doing what you're doing, then cool, brother. There's
But
something different.
I think there's an element in life of like if you like don't care so much about what, because everybody to an extent cares what people think about them.
Yeah.
So if you've gone so far like where you really actually don't give a fuck, i.e. you are a defense attorney, you probably don't even think. And also the way you rationalize it is you're doing your job. Like I'm just doing my job. Why should I like? I'm getting paid the same way.
I mean,
anybody's getting paid.
you are, because not all defense attorneys, you know what I mean? Like, some defense attorneys are actually saving people from being prosecuted for crimes that they haven't committed. Because prosecution can be shit as well. I've seen that in loads of cases. So I just think lawyers just do the civil shit, man. Honestly, this criminal stuff, because I always think to myself, would you rather be a prosecutor and send an innocent person to jail or be a defense attorney and keep a guilty person in the public? Do you get what I mean? Because it's like both, either way, not everybody, not all your clients are going to be, not all your clients are going to be innocent. So which would you rather? I would rather keep a guilty man out, I'm not going to lie, than send an innocent man to jail. No, but then also, if you keep a guilty man out, he might be killing people.
That's what I'm saying, and raping, and that's more trauma. Sending an innocent man to, no, and this is not to belittle like jail, but sending an innocent man to jail is not the end of it in terms of like they can always come out, like there's innocence projects, and I know it's not that easy, it's not that simplistic.
But if you had to pick, then I would say send
that I would,
and he would get compensation, perhaps, maybe.
Literally, but keeping a guilty person out, especially depending on their crime. It
would definitely be dependent upon the crime.
Yeah, I guess.
If it's like a financial crime, I don't mind. Do you know what I mean? It's
I don't mind.
money,
Like, rob this
the
England.
man, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rob this England.
But it's just about...
guys. Hee hee ha ha.
Our FBI agent is like, all right, guys, we got them.
NW.
They are bursting through the doors right now.
Right.
Okay, so anyways, basically he does a summary sentence that I think sums up everything we basically says. He says, as a defense attorney, you only look at what's good for your client legally and ethically. And this is basically the summary of it. At that point, you're paid by your client. You only care about what benefits your client, and you go as far as you can legally and ethically to keep your client out of prison. And that's what he did. Like, as much as it sucks, that's exactly what he did. So after this, the police chief takes the case to the FBI, and the FBI takes over the case in July 2006.
That guy, writer from last episode, he is the MVP, I'm telling you.
Literally, he's still here, still fighting, still calling the FBI. And again, like, I was surprised. This takes me back to, I did not even know you could call the FBI like that. Like, people
just be calling the FBI all
they be calling the FBI. Shit, I'm gonna call the FBI.
Doggone porch.
What was his name again? I've even blocked him
Dan
out because
Schneider.
of the Schneider.
The pharmacist.
Hi guys, this is Dan Schneider. I'm calling from, oh my God, Saint Bernard County.
Guys, listen to the pharmacist episodes, please. Listen to the pharmacist episodes if you haven't.
Oh my gosh, that was too funny. But yeah, so the FBI contact the pharmacists, and the threats to the victims from Jalan starts coming in.
So I don't know if we mentioned this last episode, but remember we spoke about Maria Farmer and Annie Farmer.
Yeah.
Maria Farmer, when she was assaulted, she went to the police who forwarded her to the FBI, and she spoke to the FBI. She felt really encouraged that they were going to do something, but they didn't, right?
Yeah.
And so now, just as Florence just said, like, they find out about Maria Farmer and stuff, and then they kind of go back to her. But this just makes me think, I know it's very difficult to report crimes of this nature, but in doing so, they may not do anything. Like, this was 1998 or something, 1996 maybe, and now we're in 2006. But you haven't reported that can buttress, or it can sort of like, what's the word I'm thinking of? It can support like a future case, like in this
Yeah,
case,
literally.
or an ongoing case. It can just be like another nail in the coffin for somebody. And it's like, I don't know, like you never know what you're going to do in that situation. But I feel like if you can find the strength to do so, it really, really is important to do so, because it could really, really help. Like in this case, the Maria Farmer and Annie Farmer case, it just helps to be like, raw. So this didn't just start happening in the 2000s. This has been happening.
It's been happening. So she then starts threatening Maria, which is the older sister.
Jelani is a fucking bitch. I'm sorry, I just had to
Like,
say
her
it.
bitchness doesn't...
It knows
there's
no bounds.
Girl. So Maria starts moving up and down, and she even moves to like one forest area in North Carolina. And she's hiding there, and the FBI start their investigation talking to the other victims. And then eventually they find her in North Carolina and reach.
Do you know what I was thinking when they said North Carolina?
J. Cole.
Come on!
Girl.
Fayetteville, North
Girl.
Carolina.
Girl. So on-screen text
You know me
tells
so
us...
well. Oh my God.
On-screen text tells us victims also filed civil suits to start seeking monetary compensation from Epstein. And guys, like, just like, if you know anything about this case, which I don't think I'm going to do spoiler alerts here because we've been known about this case, but the way Epstein hid his money, these civil suits are still ongoing, but the victims can basically never get anything because of how he hid his money. And that's just to show you this man, the depths of his evil. Like,
very calculated.
Literally, it's like, I'm going to fuck you over in life and
one
fuck
last
you
time.
over in death. Just one last time, so you never forget me. Like, literally, if he hadn't done that with his money, the victims would have access to his estate. But because of what he's done, he's hidden his money in like all these like offshore accounts where they don't have have to give to the US and all of that kind of stuff. Basically, they cannot access his money. And that also is why I think he had that island in the Caribbean as well.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. So they cannot access his money. So they cannot settle the civil suits because the money he has in the US will not cover it. So it's actually a fucking joke. But this is the beginning of the civil suits because, like, they're like, okay, there's a criminal one going on, but we're going to sue you and get money, which they are entitled to. So we see the victims' charts. So they've gone to the victims have gone to a lawyer who's handling the case. And he said the first thing he did was create a chart. And we see this pyramid scheme, like we've said, of molestation. Because literally, they have him and Ghislaine at the top, who was his top recruiter. Then you have the girls. And then they tell their friends, and they tell their friends, and they all friends now. And literally, it's just a chart. And you can only imagine, because if one girl is bringing... Because one of the survivors says that she brought at least 40 people.
Yeah, she said 40 to 60 girls.
And all underage, by the way. And each of those victims brought another...
More people, yeah. It's actually wild when you think about it. Like,
crazy.
I don't think you can even fathom the amount of people. And these are real people. These aren't just
literally,
like... Do you know what I mean? Numbers.
I think you'll struggle to go to that particular part of Florida and not find women who were affected by Epstein. And I'm not just saying this to overreact or whatever. Like, I genuinely think it was
especially
kind of
around
like
that time.
A known thing. And I think there were numerous amounts of women who were affected by it that we till today we don't know, because they're women now, but they were girls then. We don't know. So we learned that Ghislaine met Jeffrey in New York. And as we kind of touched on Ghislaine yesterday, because I did some personal research on her myself before we started. She was from a really wealthy family, and she was an extrovert whilst he was an introvert. And Epstein seems like the kind of guy who he thinks he thinks he's too cool for school, or he tries to behave like he's too cool for
like
school.
Like them Shoreditch hipsters, like, oh, I don't need to try, or like, is everyone doing it? I'm not going to do it then.
I'm not going to do it,
I can't be bothered to dress up because, like, I'm just so cool. I'm like, effortlessly cool. But now my nigga just pull up your trousers, like, wear a belt. Literally, and that's his vibe. Whereas Ghislaine was very personable, she was an extrovert, she loved to party, always well-dressed. He was very rarely well-dressed. And it was kind of like, I have so much money, I don't need to dress well. Like, what? I can't be bothered. You drink Starbucks? Fuck that, I can't. That's his whole vibe. So Ghislaine's father was a disgraced billionaire actually, sorry. And come on, get it right, man.
Literally,
he ain't no millionaire. Paupers.
He also was somewhat of a fraudster. And she came to New York after her father passed away, just for some like respite. Her father had not only passed away, but he was now disgraced.
He was
England
a con man,
wasn't
allegedly.
cutting it for her, so she bounced. So Epstein was kind of, because they had a big age gap as well. He was kind of like a father figure to her. It was like a replacement. He was fun. He was quote unquote safe. And again, they shared this depravity. And sometimes it makes me think, like, in life, everybody has something inside of them. Not this particular, it could be something positive, but it just takes one person to unlock it. Because Ghislaine had lived in England this whole time and she'd never done any of this stuff.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. Epstein also, again, most of the stuff we hear about, he was very, like, his morals were questionable before he met them, but it was more like financial, which we'll touch on.
It's like, what's those people in England that were killing people, a man and a woman?
Yes. The murder.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Murder. Yeah, literally. Yeah. They two of them started their depravity together. Like, both of them had done little things here and there in the past, but when they got together, it was
But together they were,
catastrophic. And that's what these two were, like, literally. So yeah, she kind of starts chilling with him, and that's where the relationship starts. So people always describe her as his girlfriend, but again, I was reading up on this and there are loads of questions about if they actually were in a relationship. It seems like, for me, I think he was more into the girls and she was more just like a complicit friend. Sometimes they had sex, but I don't know that they were actually in a relationship. Like. I don't know if it was really his girl like that. So we now meet Stephen Hoffenberg, and he is really the final, like, nail on the coffin for this whole thing, in terms of he was the one that really catapulted Epstein into his riches today. So obviously the last time we were talking about Epstein and where he got his riches from, we stopped at the fact that he stopped being partner at this firm. So now Stephen steps in after Jeff was thrown out of Bear Stearns, and Stephen is the CEO of Towers Financial. So Hoffenberg interviews him for a role, and basically the work is fraudulent. So it's not a normal job. So you can only imagine, because basically the way they put it to Stephen when they tell him to interview Epstein is that, oh, we know this guy. He's really smart, really good at what he does, but his moral compass is askew. And Stephen's like, perfect, this is what we need. We need someone who is good with the numbers.
Do our business and not say anything.
And will help us even do our business. Bring him in. So he brings him in and they start doing this work. Personally, I don't really understand the ins and outs, but it was a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it was like, apparently what they were saying was that, like, they wanted people to invest in the company, and so they would, like, mark up what the company was worth. Which is wrong. To lure in investors. And it was a 469 million, like, Ponzi scheme, not just a small, like... This is a big man thing, you know.
This is big money we're talking. And they would, like, again, use false financial statements, exaggerate the value of the company, and Epstein was manipulating stockpiles and trading illegally. So I think, like, illegal trading is, like, when you... Or was that... No, I think that's insider trading. Let me shut up. But, yeah.
He was doing some bad things.
He was doing some naughty things. And yeah, like, he was just doing their own thing. And in the background, Epstein was beginning this relationship with Les Wexner. So, as we mentioned Les Wexner last time,
weird.
It was such a weird relationship. Les Wexner is the guy who owns a lot of these all-white brands. Like, all-white. Think of the least inclusive brands you can think of, American brands. He probably owns them. So we're talking Victoria's Secrets. How many secrets does she have? Abercrombie & Finch. I think Hollister too. And I'm not sure if he owns, like, Lululemon or whatever, but think of the least inclusive brands, he owns them. Like, and that's literally his vibe. Like, all white, all cis, all heterosexual, and he's a Republican. I think I'm painting the picture here.
We know, we get it.
Yeah, okay. So Hoffenberg gets caught, pleads guilty, and goes to prison, but Epstein gets off scot-free. And Hoffenberg says that basically the way it was is he didn't want to snitch on Epstein because it seemed like Epstein had stuff on him, and that's the way he does his thing. Like, he comes in, he makes you think you're safe, you open up, blah, 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 but he has shit on you and he will use it at any point. So Hoffenberg was like, yeah, you know what, let me just take my time because this guy's going to flip and it's going to be a whole lot worse than what it is. So he gets 27 years, if I'm correct. 20 years. And I don't know how much of that served because he's out now, but yeah. So we learn at this point that Les Wexner provided power of attorney to Epstein over his financial affairs, which everybody was just like, what the heck is going on? Literally. Like, they were just like, what? like, is actually going on, because Les was just not that kind of guy. And obviously you can't be that kind of person to have that kind of money. Like, having that kind of money means you've taken care of your money. Like, you can't just be giving off power of attorney. So apparently Epstein would always boast about how he, you know, he had this relationship with Wexner, and how he had Wexner basically by the balls, and what he knew how to get Wexner. And there's a lot of kind of implied sexual relationship between them two. I would not put it past them.
Look, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And also, I feel like when you're this manipulative and when you're this, like, focused on getting to the top, you'll do anything. Like, I've read a book like this where the guy was straight, but he used to sleep with men, rich men, because that's how he got control of them. And it's just...
And it's true. And if he did sleep with a rich man who is not out as also liking
That's
men,
what I was about to say.
then that's what you've got on them.
Over
and then
him.
even if you have these guys solicit young girls, then you, even though you've provided it and you're doing the same thing, you've now got that on them.
Literally.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like you're just winning either way.
He's winning either way. So I believe that... Did you believe there was a relationship?
Oh yeah, I thought something was going
Yeah,
on.
I feel like
everyone's a little bit fluid, isn't it? So
literally, I feel like there was definitely, at the very least, some hanky-panky, but something was going on.
Something got something, and something was something, so...
Yeah, like I'm saying, we're just building the picture of the kind of, the person Epstein was. So we learned that in 2007, Wexner cuts ties with Epstein because he discovers that Epstein has stolen $46 million, but he never explains why he didn't press charges.
And we don't know this at the time. He says this in 2019, which is less than a year ago. September 2019 is when he talks about cutting the ties in 2007, supposedly.
Literally.
He stole 46 million, but you didn't want to say nothing? I do you know, I pray to be so rich that someone can steal 46 million from me and I wouldn't report it and it wouldn't be that deep to me. Because what?
Amen.
Even if you have the money, it's not the principle. Is there no such thing as principle? There's no principle when you're being blackmailed anyway, so whatever.
This is what I mean. And this is what I mean about, like, Epstein just was getting away with shit for so long. Literally. And I agree with you. I feel like this was confirmation for me that something was going on, because I didn't understand how he was getting away with doing so much bullshit. Like, he's been fraudulent.
Yeah. But
I feel like Wexner held this back because Epstein had shit on him. Maybe if he had spoken up, next thing you'd have seen their sex tape leaking. Who knows?
Exactly.
And Epstein can afford to be gay, if you understand what I mean. Like, he's just a rich money guy. Wexner has built his whole aesthetic off of being
Republicanism.
White, republic, heterosexual, all-American family. Like, bruh. So Epstein would use his relationship with Webner to approach young girls. So he would say, like, I'm a Victoria's Secret scout. And, I'd work. And when you'd see it again, it's the same thing. It made sense. He was working with Wexner. He had that proximity to models and all these beautiful women. So if he walked up to you and said, I'm a Victoria's Secret scout, you'd be like, okay, cool. I've seen you with Wexner before. Take my picture, do this.
So makes sense.
We speak to a girl, we meet a girl briefly who says, he did that to her when they got to the hotel room for the audition. He assaulted her. She went to report to the police and nothing ever came. So whilst this is all going on, we've been seeing clips of Epstein's deposition for the civil case.
Yeah.
And, his team starts investigating and intimidating and tailing the victims and their lawyers. So they're tailing these victims, they're stalking them, they're trying to collect any and everything they can. So it comes to a head one night at one of the victims' houses witnesses' houses, where they go to the house, she's trying to sleep, and they're flashing, like, headlights into her window. And she calls the lawyer comes, and he's basically like, you need to leave. It's not safe for you in your own house. It's not safe for you to be here with your family. Like, they drove 2 hours to find her a hotel for her to stay in. That's how bad it was. And this is how it is, because when you do this, you intimidate the victims.
Yeah.
And then they no longer want to
They don't want to testify.
Because it's not even worth it. And then the case falls apart, and then that person wins. Like, it's just all round shitty. Like, everything they be telling you in Law and Order Victims Unit, SVU, is real. Like, y'all be watching that shit like it's a show, but that shit is real.
No, it's true.
Yeah, in a Criminal Victims Unit.
Here we go.
Okay, so now back to the government. We're rounding up this particular episode, but we're back with the government, because obviously everybody's wondering what the fuck is going on with charging this guy, because we've seen a civil suit. What's going on with the criminal? So we learned that the government has a 54 page indictment prepared to file with information against Epstein. So if you're talking about 54 pages on someone's crimes, you've got more than enough.
That's a lot of crimes.
This nigga be criming.
He be criming.
We are now in May of 2008 and people are chasing on the case. So remember we talked about Reiter? He's calling. He's like, what? So suddenly he starts calling. They've been very cooperative and they're like, oh, we can't talk about the case anymore. And he's like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we can't talk about the case. Like, nobody will talk to him. Nobody will say anything. All he knows is they can't really talk. Then suddenly the US attorney meets with Epstein's lawyer and the next thing...
What's his name? Acosta.
The U.S. Attorney Acosta met with Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers. The next thing, not only was the indictment gone, the FBI case was stopped.
The investigation has stopped.
Closed.
And that's where this episode ends.
That's where it ends, B.
That's where it ends. You're like, what? And then now you start to understand why we didn't hear about Epstein till the late 2000s.
So when we did, exactly.
Shit was just...
It's not for lack of trying.
They've been known. And the
thing is that just having the power over people like that is very scary. No one should be able to be bought like that, especially people for the justice man them. The DA, because Acosta is the DA. Anyway, we get into Acosta later, and I'm glad we get into Acosta later.
But because he was corrupt. Like, I've always...
And also his head annoys me. Like,
his head annoys me so much. Yeah. But I've known Acosta was corrupt from... Like, I've heard about him from time. So this is just... For me as well, it's just funny because it just shows there is corruption everywhere.
Yeah, like, trying to act like it's just African countries. It's just Nigeria.
Africa is very overt and
we don't mind.
We don't hide it.
What are you going to do? Who got to check me, boo?
Literally, they don't hide it. But in all the Western countries, corruption goes deep. Yeah. And it's just better hidden. Literally, better hidden.
But yeah, guys, this is episode 2. Like we said at the beginning, we are going to do 2 episodes next week as well, just to get this out of the way while it's still funky fresh. So yeah, we hope that you guys are keeping safe, keeping well. For the black people out there listening, we hope that your souls are not crushed so much.
Mental health, please, honestly. Guys, check out
if you need to come off social media for a bit, come off social media for a bit. I have, Forens has,
and it helps,
honestly. But yeah, guys, I know we just said come on social media. If you decide not to and you want to follow us, we are on Instagram and Twitter at 2girls1doc. I'm on Instagram at Miss BD, same on Twitter.
I am on Instagram 4ends with 2 underscores and Twitter 4ends with 1 underscore. I ain't been tweeting, but I'm finna be back.
Yeah, we just need a break because low-key, high-key, it's a lot. But yeah, we'll be back next week, Wednesday, did we say?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Back next week, Wednesday and Friday with episodes 3 and 4. So stay tuned.
All right, guys.
Stay safe. Bye.
Stay safe. Bye.